It's an overreaction victory Monday as the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 28-23. We're going over good, the bad, the ugly, the great, the questionable. We're going to go over it all. Plus, we're going to talk a little Joel Embiid and Jason Kelce and their adventurous weekend, guys. Trending in the AM. We're live in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live. We are live on YouTube and Twitter. I got to get that one right in my head there, guys. We're live on those two social media platforms, so make sure you do me the favor. And whichever platform you're watching on, you do what you got to do. Like, subscribe, share, repost, tell one, tell all. Trending in the AM, the only morning show in Philadelphia where your opinions actually matter. There's a lot of places to get your morning content. I hope you find this one. I hope you share this one out because this is the one. This is the one that's taken off now, going for almost 3+ years, guys. I'd greatly appreciate any and all help. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. You can find me at Beard of Knowledge on all social media platforms, and we got lots to talk about today as the Philadelphia Eagles did win yesterday in South Philly, 28-23. What looked like a blowout got really sketchy down the line. Some questionable coaching, some questionable decision-making down the stretch of that game, and we're going to go all into it. We're also going to talk a little bit about Jason Kelce and Joel Embiid later. Maybe a special guest might pop in at some point today. We'll get to that when that happens, but let's get right into it. The comments. Go Birds, Kyle. How are you this morning? Hope the statistician as well. Good morning, Duck. Sirianni needs to be sat down and have all play calling removed from him. This game shouldn't have been that close, but Nick is a gambling degenerate. He might be a gambling degenerate. Someone might want to check his DraftKings account, Duck. Maybe that'll get him off the play calling duties right there. How do you leave 14 on the table? You think you're the smartest guy in the room, and you are not. You should be in the corner with the dunce cap on. Team A win. Look, it was definitely one of those situations, Duck, in my opinion. You know, I'm talking about the Phillies, that they won despite Nick Sirianni, despite him. Just like the Phillies win despite Rob Thompson, in my opinion. That's kind of how I felt from the game yesterday. But that's what it is. Marshawn, what's up? I actually had no issue with Nick going for it on fourth down the first attempt. The cornerback made a great play on that AJ pass. Yeah, that's an interesting one, Marshawn. I agree. I thought the route should have been cut a little shorter. The further you throw the ball, the lower the percentage of it is. Like A.J. Brown took like this back end angle at it and gave the cornerback an opportunity to cut in front and break that pass off. If he would have cut it closer, and we've seen that once or twice this year on plays, if the wide receiver takes a different route to the ball, that a ball would be completed or not intercepted. I just think maybe A.J. kind of not got soft, just laid back on the route a little bit. I don't know what the correct term is, but that one was fine. I get it. We scored a touchdown last week on a fourth down and short, throw deep to A.J. Brown. My problem is taking points off the board. When you have the extra point, you take it off of the 2-point conversion. Going for it constantly, the 2-point. There were 4 instances where there was a combined 8 points that could have been scored. You want to take away this one here? That's fine. I'm okay with that, Marshawn. But that still leaves 5 other points on the board. One specifically that you had on the board. I just never understood the philosophy in a game, especially one that's not a blowout, but you're close to putting, foot on throat. You've got points on the board, but a penalty, you take the points off the board. That to me is always such an egregious, decision from coaches. Like, I just don't understand why coaches do that. Drives me completely up a wall. I also have no issue with anything tush push related at the 1 yard line. The Jaguars did the first 3 quarters of the game, the Jaguars did absolutely nothing well. Literally nothing well, except for stop the tush push. They had the plan for it. They did. Now, Jordan Mailata not being out there, that's part of the issue, probably, for sure. Mekhi Becton was banged up. Fred Johnson was banged up throughout the game. Jason Kelce's not out there. There's a lot of reasons. It's still a very effective play. But when you've got the point on the board, and at that point, that would have put us up 17, and you take it off the board and leave it to 16, it changes the whole entire complexity of the game. I just hate that aspect of it. Just take the points. Take the field goal. Take the extra point when it's there in front of you. I mean, it's to me, it's a pretty easy decision to make there. Now, I know 90% likely. I think that's what they're running this year. 90% on the tush push. That's their success rate. That tells you to go for it or whatnot. It still, to me, does not make it the right decision to go for it in that situation. I kind of feel like they won the football game despite Nick Sirianni. The offense looked smoother and different at multiple times throughout the game. There was motion. We saw jet sweeps. We saw so many creative different plays. We saw a fullback catch a pass. Unfortunately for Ben Van Sumeren, he got that concussion in the game and didn't get to play much more. Like there was so much creativity and difference in the offense this week. And yet Nick Sirianni made some boneheaded decisions. Look, I don't want to turn this show into let's just bash Nick Sirianni. Because I know it's not necessary. We're 6-2. We've won 4 games in a row. Jalen Hurts has played 4 straight clean football games. We're riding high. We got Dallas coming up next week. Dallas week begins today. But it has to be discussed that Nick Sirianni's aggression is, as Duck said, maybe not aggression, a degenerate gambler. It's just getting a little too much. Nick Sirianni outthinks himself because he's got to prove he's the most aggressive guy in the room. He doesn't have to prove anything. All he's got to do is coach smart football, and it's a problem. Being up 9 as opposed to 6 is pretty big. All right, so he was up 6. He could have been up 6. Hold on, 9 versus 6. He was up 6. You're talking about the field goal? I'm sorry. I'm trying to. Because I was thinking of a different play, which would have put us up 7 versus 6. But anyway, I get what you're saying. Look, there's just so many moments that Nick Sirianni felt like probably he had to prove to the world, because this game, offensively speaking, was all Kellen Moore. There's so much Kellen Moore in this game. I almost feel like Nick Sirianni becomes too aggressive to solely prove to the people, I still got some power on this team. Yo, Kellen, I don't care what you say. I have the power, the final decision. So we're going to take those points off the board and go for it because you know what? I still have the power. Is the aggression from Nick Sirianni really a power play from Nick Sirianni? Something I just thought of right there. He left 14 points on the table due to trying to be the smartest guy in the room or trying to bully the smart kid. Take the points given most of the time. Insanity is repeated doing that. Absolutely agree. Again, it's Sirianni trying to prove his worth, prove his control, prove that he is still. And you know what's crazy, Big Al? The team still loves Nick Sirianni. The players love him. They want to play for him. But we clearly saw it at the end of the week last week when Lane Johnson spoke on Friday that, we went to him and said, this is what we need to do more of. Run, play action from under center, which we saw successfully again this week. So they like Nick Sirianni. They love Nick Sirianni. They want him to be their coach. They also want him to take a back seat. So Lane Johnson better step up again this week and be like, coach, calm down. We got your back. But let Kellen Moore do his thing. Because every time Nick Sirianni puts his nose into the business a little bit, something bad happens. The explanation is also awful from them. We should have won by a lot if those 8 points were taken off as they should. Yeah, I mean, look, this game got way too close, way too quickly. Now you got to think that Jacksonville wasn't going to just go away without putting up some form of a fight. But, man, it got close. And it got close fast because of some decision making. Also got close because of that really bad call on a fumble from Saquon Barkley. I guess stumbling is now part of the NFL rulebook somehow. Wouldn't have known that. There were a couple other moments like the fumble or the not call on the fumble or whatever you want to call it. The bad decision on the fumble by the referees there. Like the refs reviewed that fumble and ruled it a fumble in less than 3.2 seconds, which does not even give you enough time to look at all the angles. Like it clearly was tripped up Saquon Barkley there. That was big part of the turn and the tides. But honestly, it's not as big of a moment if you don't take those points off the board at multiple times. Sirianni's worth is making sure the team is steady because he can't call anything but high school football. I've seen a lot of people use the term high school football with his play and decision making over the last 24 hours. He needs to become a high school head coach because that's where he should have been to begin with. Look, and you know what? He's coached in a Super Bowl now, Duck, and he's 6-2. And I got a thread going on Twitter. You know, Nick Sirianni is blank, and the comments I'm getting are all over the place because there's still a lot of Nick Sirianni supporters out there. You know, Nick Sirianni is a winning coach. Nick Sirianni is 6-2 this year. Nick Sirianni 40-19. Nick Sirianni is a Super Bowl coach. Blah blah blah. And then there's the other half of the equation that Nick Sirianni is a bozo, an idiot, a doofus, a guy that has no clue what's going on. There's two wide ranges. And I'm trying to come down the middle here because I get it. Some of his decision-making is horrendous. Horrendous. But some of his decision-making is why we're 6-2, is why we're constantly winning games the last couple of years. Does he have to have everyone love him? Or do they love him but not respect him? It's something that I talked countlessly and tirelessly about Rob Thompson, Big Al. That Rob Thompson was loved. He's the cool drunk uncle. But they don't believe in him as the leader. Same thing with Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni is he wants to be high-fiving and jumping and goofing. Well, you know, sometimes respect is better than love. In certain situations in life, respect is more important than love. Problem is they love Nick Sirianni. They might respect him. They might not. I don't know. But Nick has no choice but to prove his worth. He has been relieved of play calling duties. At least that's what they say. I would pull all of the stops too. I really truly think that some of the overly unnecessary aggressive Nick Sirianni is to prove to the fans, to the team, and to himself, I still got some power here. I still have some say in what gets done on any given Sunday. Nick's job is to make sure the players understand the direction of the team and make sure they all pull and push in the same direction. He's sat in the corner with his dunce cap. Look, I get it. I get the frustration in your words. I understand what you're saying, Duck, and why. I truly do. I really do. He undermines so much good that Kellen Moore did. I mean, literally, there were so many things that were done yesterday from Kellen Moore's offense. Hell, we scored in the first quarter. Not in the first drive, the second drive, but whatever. That cost me $10 because I bet that the Eagles would score on their opening drive, and they scored 2 plays after their opening drive, of course. We saw so much creativity, so much things that I've wanted to see from this offense for so long. Jalen Hurts even throwing over the middle of the field a bunch of times. And yet Nick Sirianni is constantly undermining him by making these tough decisions that we don't want him to make, or that Kellen Moore probably doesn't want him to make. I wonder in those situations, if you could get an honest opinion, which you can't, if you would get an honest opinion from Kellen Moore, what he would have done in each one of those situations that we'll be critical of. He obviously didn't pull all play calling because you could tell when he calls a play or pushes he definitely has 100% on the go for it and the 2-point conversions and stuff like that. Of course, there were a couple plays that I was questionable. A couple bubble screens, not very ideal, and the wide receiver bubble screens still don't work. But for the most part, we saw shotgun, we saw under center, we saw play action, we saw over the middle, we saw slant routes, we saw it all. We saw running back or wide receiver sweeps. across the backfield there. Nia Smith did that. I mean, we saw everything out there. Only thing we didn't see was a flea flicker yet. And I bet you that's being saved. There was a much more creative offense this week. That was probably the most creative offense, or the most Kellen Moore-esque offense that I saw. And you know what? 8 games in, Jalen Hurts seems to be getting a little bit more of a grasp on where he should be throwing the football. There's a play in this game. Everyone's going to talk about the throw to Devonta Smith, the throw to Saquon Barkley. But there was a play. I think it was on the Devonta Smith touchdown drive. There was a play. It was like 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7. And Devonta Smith ran, I don't know if it was a crossing route or a slant route, but over the middle, there were 2 defenders crashing in on Devonta Smith. And Jalen Hurts put a dime on his back shoulder, caught for a first down that then led to the touchdown. Jalen Hurts, struggling Jalen Hurts, turnover Jalen Hurts, does not make that throw. Not even attempt it, because he's not confident enough to make that throw. But Jalen Hurts is feeling the confidence because they're taking things. They're easing him in every game now. He's building that rapport with Kellen Moore. He's building that confidence with Kellen Moore. That throw there won't get talked about outside of right here on this show all week long. But that throw there gives me more confidence moving forward than the amazing play to Devonta Smith. And it might be the Devonta Smith catch, might be the Eagles' catch of the year. Amazing catch, amazing throw. But that 3rd and 6 throw, that tells me that that Jalen Hurts has confidence in what he's doing, and the coaches and the players around him. And that was after A.J. Brown had already gone out for the game. Moore doesn't care enough to stop him, because it's obvious which are his plays and which are Sirianni's. He knows he's getting head coaching here or somewhere next year. I agree. He will get a coaching somewhere. We did see John Dotson for one play. And it was an amazing catch. The kid's obviously got some talent. Now we got to see him a little bit more, and maybe we'll see. Hopefully we don't need to see him next week. Oddly enough, his catch came while A.J. Brown was still in the game, not when A.J. Brown went out of the game. And we're going to have to really keep our ear to the ground on the A.J. Brown knee situation. I saw somebody sharing out some doctor report on the play that it might be a minor MCL tweak or something like that. Saving the flea flicker for the Super Bowl. Gotcha, Anthony. That would be great. Phillies, I don't care about the Phillies right now. Sirianni will not get a head coaching opportunity if he loses his gig here in Philly. His uncontrolled childish behavior is for national viewership. I'm happy. Hit that like button and sub. That's right, Duck. Everybody watching right now, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We got lots going on this week. This is a big week this week. So a lot happening in sports and in the world this week. So guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to have a special guest joining us in about 10, 15 minutes here. Vin Diesel is just a very clutch football player. He is. So, Marshawn, we don't know what's up with him. I don't know. Nobody knows. I'm sure there'll be an MRI or something done on A.J. Brown's knee today. There's a doctor at some podcasting network that I follow. I forget which one it was. Shared out this doctor just breaking down the hit that he took before halftime and saying that you see his knee bend a little bit. And without looking at MRIs or anything, they just saw the movement, and they say that it's probably just an MCL tweak, which would be a week or two. So, there's no real official report. The fact that he stayed in the game after the hit, went to the locker room at halftime, came back out after halftime, then went back to the locker room tells me it might not have been that serious. And maybe they just thought, hey, we got this game without you. Let's be extra cautious and go protect the knee. I didn't see any reports of him in a brace after the game or anything like that. So I'm not sure. I'd be more concerned with the Ben Van Summeren concussion. Mekhi Becton got banged up in the game a bunch. There was a lot. I think Saquon Barkley banged up his neck and back in the game. There was a lot of banged up players. Hence why you don't take points off the board. You don't let the Jaguars get back into it, so then you can rest your stars and not have to continue to be running Saquon Barkley late in the fourth quarter of a football game that should have been a 20-point blowout. Duck saying Hurts is getting his groove back with smaller, shorter plays early so he can feel comfortable. This is all I've been asking for, Duck. This is how you do it. You get them comfortable, and then you go for the home run balls. And it's working. Good morning, Eric, the gatekeeper. How are you? We were up like 22-0. Nick started rubbing his hands together, all giddy, like, I got it. I hear you, Eric. I hear you on that. If we integrate Dotson, we will be fine. Wilson looking more and more like J-Jaw. Yeah, Johnny Wilson. He tried with the push off. It just, yeah. 2 weeks without AJ, and we have a Sunday and a Thursday game is no bueno. Yeah, I mean, you got Sunday against the Cowboys, and you got Thursday against Washington. It's a tough schedule. Then we got the Rams, who had a big win yesterday, and Baltimore. The next 4 weeks are very tough because, you got the Thursday night game mixed in there. A lot of road games. 3 of the next 4 are on the road again. The next 4 games, the fact that we're 6-2 now is great because there's a serious chance we're 2-2 over the next 4 weeks, which puts us at what, 8-4, which is still in a very good spot. We might be 1-3 over the next 4 weeks. Washington's going to be tough. Baltimore's going to be tough. Going to the Rams is never easy. They're playing with confidence at this point. What's up, Nooms? How you doing today? Usually when you have mobility for like 30 minutes with swelling that much later, usually pretty minor. Yeah, I'm tending to feel that the way the scenario played out, that the A.J. Brown situation is minor. I would expect him not to practice this week. I would expect very minimal practice from Saquon Barkley this week and stuff like that. That push off by Johnny Wilson wasn't a lot. Honestly, when you saw the replay, it really did not look like much. It really did. I actually agree with you 1,000%, Marshawn. I think it was a bogus push off call. There are a lot of missed calls, a lot of bad penalties called by the refs, a lot of mistakes. The refs were really bad on Sunday, Marshawn. I'm just going to say it. They were really, really bad on Sunday. It was pretty rough there, in my opinion. AJ knees seem to get banged up every year. Nick is a clown. We can agree on the clown part. And finally, the team is seeing the positive run to open up the passing game. Yeah, look, Saquon Barkley yesterday. I mean, you had the big catch, you had the big touchdown run. He took some big hits. The hurdle. I hate when football players leave their feet. When a ball carrier tries to hurdle a defender, nothing good ever comes in. He took a shot to the back, and throughout the game, you constantly saw him getting his neck worked on, getting it stretched, tweaking it with his shoulders and stuff like that. I hate when ball carriers do it, but he touched the ball 31 times. There were 71 offensive plays, and Saquon Barkley was touching the ball 31 of those. That guy had almost 200 all-purpose yards. When are we going to talk about Saquon Barkley, an MVP candidate? Like, it needs to be discussed. The Sunday to the back-to-back definitely played into the decision to take him out. Well, the Sunday to Thursday isn't – so we got Sunday next week and then Thursday after that. So we got 2 games in the next, 11 days. Yeah, but Dak is probably going to be out this week. Dak also got caught on camera saying we suck. So you'll love to see that. You love to see Dak Prescott saying we suck. I think Wilson got screwed on that call. He did not extend his elbow. He pushed a little bit, but yeah, he didn't fully extend on it. I thought it was a weak call. I do. Cowboys offense looked better with Cooper Rush than with Dak yesterday. I didn't watch any of that game, but yeah, maybe. I don't know. The rest were not going to call a hold on the Jags unless they got an envelope kicked to them. They think they are calling the Dallas game. Yeah. If the guy can stay out of the way and let these men coach, he could, one, learn from them and trick a team into hiring him. But what's he doing is exposed. Yeah, I guess, Eric, 40-19 with 3 playoff appearances and a holding penalty away from a Super Bowl win. As goofy and as head-scratching his in-game moves are, there's something there that works. Mark, this is the Rob Thompson effect, Mark. Somehow, despite the head-scratchers, the Eagles continue to win under Nick Sirianni. It's the same thing with Rob Thompson. Despite the coach, the talent wins out more often than not. Unfortunately, when the talent doesn't win out are in key moments in the Super Bowl, in the playoffs last year. I don't know. I am so baffled by the fact that I know this number's right, 40-19 over basically 3.5 years coaching. That's nothing to to cough at. Like 40-19 is an amazing record for a football coach over 3.5 years. My guess is over that same time frame, maybe Andy Reid's got as many wins, but that's about it. Like, it's pretty damn amazing being 40-19 over your last 59 games. The head coach was so bad that the refs even had to take a back seat. Yeah. We need to pull Barkley back to the 20-25 touches because the season just gets harder from here. Yeah, I don't know if you pull him out or anything like that, Duck. Not yet. Because he is the offense. He is the game plan. He is it all. You ride him out. And if maybe you burn him out before the 3-year contract's up, that's fine. But you let him carry the rock and as much as possible this year, and you burn him out. You get what you can out of him. There's Villanova basketball today. Who's Villanova? I don't know anything about Villanova. What's Villanova basketball? We're going to get to some college sports and some other things later in the show. So obviously Jason Kelce was up at Penn State. I got a really weird Penn State take that I want to go over with everybody. We got the Penn State Jason Kelce situation in a little bit. We got the Joel Embiid Marcus Hayes situation in a little bit, but not yet. They do have a guest joining us here in about 5 minutes. So I want to save that. We could key into that with the guest and then after the guest a little bit as well. Wilson didn't extend his elbow any further than Jordan did on. No, I think Jordan did on Byron Russell a little bit more. But I still think, hold on, back to this. I've always said that should have been a foul call on Jordan. But you're never calling that foul call on Jordan in the NBA Finals. You're just not doing it. Switzer had an equally good record, and no one is confusing him with a coaching legend. Yeah, that's what we're comparing someone 30 years ago. I remind you that though through these years he had Steichen, Johnson, and now more. They saved his career to date, and except for Steichen, they are Howie guys. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's part of it there too. I mean, that can't be easy for Nick Sirianni either. Just like it's not easy for Jalen Hurts to go from Steichen to Johnson, to Kellen Moore, to constantly be changing your coordinators, to constantly be changing offensive philosophies, constantly have two offensive philosophies in your ears. One side, Nick Sirianni, it's like you got the devil and the angel. You got Sirianni on one side and your offense coordinator on the other side, both telling you different things or running different styles and schemes at the exact same time. It can't be easy. It can't be. But it's something that is happening right now. It is. And, look, again, back to Mark's comment, 40-19, there is something to being 40-19. The fact that Nick Sirianni has not missed the playoffs yet in his coaching career as the Eagles head coach. He has gotten us to the Super Bowl. But again, just like we say, there's sometimes some bad quarterbacks get to Super Bowls and win Super Bowls. Maybe bad coaches do sometimes too. I saw ESP after the game gave out his grades for the offense, the defense, the coaching, special teams. And he gave the coaching an A- or something like that. And the offense a C+. How is that even humanly possible? If anything, it should have been the opposite way. The coaching would get a C- and the offense would get an A-. I'd be curious. We all think that Nick Sirianni, if we don't win a Super Bowl or get a certain farness in the playoffs, Nick Sirianni's gone. But if we do and Nick Sirianni stays, that Kellen Moore will go somewhere. I wonder, after this season's over, if Nick Sirianni doesn't get fired and Kellen Moore doesn't have teams lining up to give him a coaching job, would Kellen Moore even want to stay working under Nick Sirianni? That's a question. Like, he was probably sold, look, Kellen, this will be your offense. Nick's the head coach, but you're the guy in charge of the offense. That's what he was sold on, bill of goods wise, to come here. Would he even want to stay? I don't know. Something interesting there I just thought of. You could tell which OC had stronger personality, Steichen and more experience, and these were they able to spite of the head coach. Agreed. Mark, what do you got here? When Andy lost Jim Johnson and John Harbaugh, the wheels really start to fall off. Head coach are only good as their coordinators. That is true. All right, real quick, join us on the I Have No Sponsor hotline. Be great. Fox Radio. Jim Chesko. Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Good morning, Phil. Happy Victory Monday to you, man.
It is a happy Victory Monday, even though despite the victory, there are some concerns, from Eagles fans because of some of the decision making from Nick Sirianni. Have you ever seen? Oh, well, let me rephrase this. Are you in the same boat as me? You never take points off the board, do you?
Yeah, I'm with you. And they took, 8 or 9 points off the board yesterday with their decisions. I hated some of them. The field goal, for one thing. The consistently going for it on 4th and 1, sometimes you just got to pull back and don't do that. And the 2-point conversions, which they clearly did not master yesterday. So,
yeah, it's an extremely frustrating thing. And I always say this. I get a lot of criticism because people call me Rob Thompson hater all the time because I'm not a huge fan of Rob Thompson, the manager of the Phillies. But I always say the Phillies always were winning despite their manager's decision. I kind of feel like days like yesterday, the Eagles won because of the talent, not because their coach led them to victory. But yet after the game and all week long, all you hear is everybody supporting Nick Sirianni in that locker room. How does that work? How can you win despite your coach, but still love your coach at the same time?
Yeah, and it does compare to the Phillies, where they seem to love Rob Thompson in there. The Eagles players apparently do really like Nick, so he is a player's coach. I don't know if they're just saying that. Maybe that's just the talk, but they're 6-2, and like last year when they started 10-1, you wondered how some of those games were won, and this year they really nearly let yesterday's win slip away. It got way scarier than it should have been. Granted, the Barkley fumble that wasn't a fumble was a part of that. But, some of the decision-making hurt as well. Still, a win is a win. They're 6-2. As you said, tough 4 games coming up.
They're 6-2. Nick Sirianni's 40-19 as a head coach of the Eagles. He's been to a Super Bowl every year to the playoffs, probably this year as well. I mean, I don't remember a time where I've been so frustrated with a coach outside of Rob Thompson with the Eagles. I don't remember a situation like this with the Eagles. But you bring up the Saquon Barkley thing, and you've got a lot of connections. You've been doing Philly Press Box Radio for over 10 years. So you've got a rules expert in your Rolodex there on your desk, because we need to hear from the rules expert, because now I guess stumbling is part of the rule book, because that was the report that came out from the referees after the game. He stumbled into the offensive lineman, and that's now part of the rule according to the referees.
Yeah, I saw that. I never saw that stumbling mentioned before in a rule interpretation. But
you gotta go. You're old enough. You probably still have a Rolodex on your desk, right? Not an actual phone book. So you got to go through the Rolodex and pull out the number for your rules expert.
Yeah, I loved the old Rolodex. I don't use it anymore, but the memories.
Anyway, you've got a fantastic. I want to spend some time talking about some other stuff with you, but you've got a fantastic Philly Press Box Radio coming up this Wednesday right here on the STT Sports Network. I just want you to announce the guests that you got coming on, because you got 2 legends in their own minds coming on your show this week.
2 legends of morning radio and podcasting and the Philly sports scene in general. I have Angelo Cataldi, the long retired now, a year and a half retired legend from WIP. He's got that book Loud that he wrote last year. He's got a bunch of things coming up, including an induction this Thursday into the Philly Sports Hall of Fame. I'll be there for that. That will be fun. So, one legend in Angelo Cataldi. The second legend joining us live Wednesday at 7 p.m., none other than Phil Stiefel right there. Phil Stiefel joining us on the big show Wednesday at 7 p.m. You will not want to miss this one, folks. Another legend, obviously.
Yeah. I just can never imagine that I'd be on the same bill, Angelo Cataldi and me on the same headline. I don't know. Whose name do I put first in the graphic? I don't know. I got to think about that.
Well, you are his opening act in this case, so you better do well, pal.
Oh, man, I have to open for Angelo. Angelo should be opening for me, all right? Angelo should be my lead-in, okay? Not the other way around. Obviously, you've got legend Angelo Cataldi coming on, and a lot of what I do here is because, he was always growing up an inspiration for me. Always listened to his morning show growing up as a kid. But there's some news this weekend with, another, I don't want to call him legendary, but longtime Philly media reporter in Marcus Hayes. And I already see people comment, and Rick, I saw your comment already about, the Marcus Hayes, Joel Embiid situation. Marcus Hayes was once, in my opinion, someone I respected, I listened to it on Daily News Live. I read his articles all the time when I was, growing up. But he's kind of gone into a different direction with some of his phrasing of some of his stories over the last couple of months. Obviously, the Joel Embiid situation and the article bringing up his deceased brother and his son in an article has sparked some things. And Saturday it comes out that Joel Embiid and Marcus Hayes kind of got into a little bit of a scuffle. It's not something you would think would happen in this day and age in the media with the locker rooms.
Yeah, that was certainly crazy news. I heard that late Saturday night when I was out and about. Bizarre stuff. I mean, Marcus wrote, that column where he did mention, as you said, Joel's young son and Joel's dead brother died in a car crash, 9 years ago or whatever. Mm-hmm. A lot of people had problems with it. I didn't think it was that terrible, to be honest, on Marcus's part. It wasn't like he dissed them in any way, but Joel had a problem with him simply mentioning them to get to his point about Joel not being on the court enough, the fact that maybe he doesn't want to play hard enough. So, I can see both sides of it, but, Joel was certainly wrong to lay hands on Marcus Hayes. You just don't do that. You can't physically assault. I don't know if it was a true assault, but you can't even push a reporter because you're going to get called out for it.
Someone was doing his job. He has I can't even read this. Marcus Hayes is doing his job as far as his employer is concerned. Yeah. He's a troll. I don't know. I kind of find it hard to say it. Look, I don't mind disagreeing. I disagree. I don't think Marcus Hayes should have used his deceased brother in the conversation of getting his point. His point of him not being available enough is a very valid point, and I think that there could have been multiple other avenues for Marcus Hayes to get his point across. Does that make sense? Like he didn't need that paragraph, because I don't subscribe to the Inquirer anymore, but I've read the article and I feel like that paragraph of the article could have been deleted and the exact same point still could have gotten, brought across.
And I think he did later edit it and take that out and,
yes,
clarify that was the case. But as far as his point about Embiid not being on the court enough, yeah, that is valid. And I think Joel maybe was a little wrong to tackle it the way he did, saying, how much he's given to this city. People aren't going to see that in a good light. What have you given us? Yeah, you play basketball, but now you're getting paid $60 million a year to play less than half of the games, it looks like, again, for a second straight year. So I can see the Embiid hate and where that's coming from also.
On the other aspect of it, it's family as well. It's like, take family out of it when you're doing things like, I don't bring people's families into any arguments that we do. And then you also had on Saturday more family drama with Jason Kelce up at Penn State, and he was being heckled really, really poorly, in poor taste from a Penn State fan. And, he got into it with the fans, smashed the fan's phone, went back at the fan. It's kind of crazy that two big moments, two big Philly, personalities got involved in these kind of things the same exact weekend.
Boy, Saturday was not a good day for Philly sports fans or Penn Staters like me. Mm-hmm. I'm a Penn State alum. You just knew that was coming, by the way, the loss to Ohio State.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, God. Yeah, Saturday was a rough day. But, yeah, there's just so much Jason Kelce news out there. Every once in a while it's going to be something kind of unfortunate like this. But the kid was wrong to approach him like that and, to say something negative about Jason's brother, who, Jason obviously loves. So I can't blame him for going after the kid.
Yeah, I think the two situations are exactly the same, where, if you go after someone's family, they are in their right mind to defend their family's honor. I love what Noom said here, just because anytime I could say Stan Hochman on the radio, I'm very happy in saying Stan Hochman's name. Stan Hochman would never have presented the topic in the same way as Marcus Hayes did. Stan Hochman's one of my favorites growing up. So anytime I can mention Hochman's name.
I got to meet Stan at a Philly sports writers banquet about maybe 12 years ago. And just a legend as far as, sports writing in Philadelphia goes.
Yeah, absolutely agree. So real quick, you got obviously the great show this week. What other time? You say did you go to Penn State when you say
I did? Yeah, class.
Okay, so you got to. I developed this thing this week, in the last year or two, where I am not a Penn State fan anymore, and my life has gotten so much less stressful now not being a Penn State fan, because I realized, why am I a Penn State fan? I never went to Penn State. I was it's like in the Philadelphia area, they just kind of force feed you Penn State. Am I wrong in saying I just don't care about Penn State anymore?
Well, I hear you. And part of the thing is the Philadelphia area proper never had a great football power.
Exactly.
So, people go to rooting for Penn State because they are the big school in Pennsylvania. Sorry, Pitt. So, yeah, but they really disappoint us so often. And, James Franklin getting a lot of criticism yet again because of his awful record against Ohio State. Some of the decisions he made on a couple of those drives on Saturday, you get deep into the red zone twice and can't get a single point. So I get it.
All right, guys, make sure you guys are checking out Chet over at Chet at Philly Press Box Radio again Wednesday night. Myself kicking off the show, leading into the great interview with Angelo Cataldi, a radio legend right there. You guys are not going to want to miss that. I still got to get on the graphic creation for that one, but we'll get to that this week. Jim, it's going to be a crazy week. We got the Eagles winning. Yeah. It's Cowboys hate week. It's an election. I mean, what else is going to go on this week? I mean, this is Paul George is going to play tonight maybe for the Sixers.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in the world this week.
Always a lot going on. They give us plenty to talk about. Can't wait to have you on the show on Wednesday. That is going to be so much fun. Hey, I want to ask you one other thing, though. I saw you were doing a Halloween candy bracket last week.
Yes.
I didn't see the result. What won?
Oh, there was no – I didn't have like an actual poll going. I just took comments on it. I got more negative comments about why I skipped certain candies versus the candies I actually picked, because you can't please everybody when you do something like that.
Well, let me tell you, you had some of the obvious ones on there. And for me, Snickers, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, of course, and Kit Kat are among my favorites. But, one that I would have added, this is an underrated candy bar right here. It is Mr. Good Bar. Chocolate with peanuts, Phil. Mr. Good Bar, personal favorite.
That one was purposely left out. Just so you know. The Almond Joy, the a couple of other ones I was told I just forgot about. But Mr. Good, I'm not. Yeah, I don't do nuts and candy, so
Okay.
Anyway, Jim, guys, everybody, make sure you're checking out Philly Press Box Radio right here on STT Sports Network Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Myself and Angelo Cataldi will be joining Jim and Bill on that show, guys. Yep. Jim, thanks very much for your time this morning.
Thanks, Phil. See ya.
See ya. We got lots of comments to catch up on here on the board here. We root for Penn State because Philly fans don't have other real options. Exactly. Well, I decided I don't need those options anymore. I could just not watch college football if I have to. Well, that's pretty easy too. Mr. Goodbar for the win. Nah, he brought Jim actually brought like props to his little appearance here today, and I love it. Let me go back here. Make Eagles linebackers great again. I love that comment. I'll be honest, Mark. I'm back to your comment up here. I strongly disagree with Jim on the whole Joel Embiid, Marcus Hayes thing. There are a lot of older people, older media members that are sticking up for Marcus Hayes in this situation. Let me tell you something. I won't cop a charge for much, but you disparage my family in any way, I'm copping a charge. Plain and simple. I'm surprised. I actually have an inside source on this one. I'm just going to say it, that there was some punches thrown, that Sixers security gathered up the media and told the media to downplay the incident. It wasn't just a shove. It was a punch. And that Keith Pompey's tweet was pulled down because they wanted to deflect this situation as much as possible. I do expect Joel Embiid to get suspended. I do not expect the Marcus Hayes credentials to get suspended or withdrawn. I just think it's one of those things that it's an unfortunate situation that Marcus Hayes, in my opinion, was wrong on. Go Michigan, says Mitch. What's up, my man? I will rarely ever understand when people look the other way on things like, absolutely. Absolutely. I said a year or two. I really haven't cared about Penn State football in a decade plus. You call him, I don't know. Like he puts in his thing on the screen, Jim Chesko. So I know him as Chet, but when he puts it on the screen like that, I feel like I got to read his name, Jim Chet. And you notice I stumble over his name because I'm like, I want to call him Chet, but then I see it on there as Jim, and I feel like I got to call him Jim. Go Blue, Mitchell. Mitchell, we're calling him Mitchell now. Go Oregon Ducks. Sure, I could be an Oregon Ducks fan. Why not? My sister-in-law's boyfriend's an Oregon Duck graduate. Keep my family out of your – absolutely, Duck. I mean, family is above everything else. And the Jason Kelce and Joel Embiid situations this weekend, I 1,000% support both of them in it. Jason Kelce, there's I see media people calling him out. John Mark's one of them, one of my straight-on competitors right now in the morning, saying that Jason Kelce was wrong, shouldn't have done that. Damn, you call my brother something like that? Yo, I'm not smashing your phone, I'm smashing you. I'm getting locked up for it, on camera or not. And John Marks and there are other media members complaining about the money that he could lose from this. You think Jason Kelce cares about the money? Jason Kelce's got more money than he wants. He loves money. That's why he keeps working and making more. But he don't care if ESPN fired him. He don't care. He go get a job somewhere else if he wants to make more money. They don't care. Money's not an issue. Going to defend family honor till the end. Same thing with Joel Embiid. The fact that Marcus Hayes even was there, I'm surprised. It was a pop-up game, so I'm surprised Marcus even knew the game was happening. It is what it is. T for Temple U. Like, I'm a Widener graduate. Division III college football is not something to cheer for on a regular basis. There's video and Sixers front office are strong arming this. There's got to be. There's no way, Mark, that incident happened and that not one beat reporter got a video of it. There's no way. There's no way. I do not believe that for one instant that video does not exist somewhere. How about them Cowboys? It's Dallas Sucks Week here on the show starting today. Go Cherry and White, Temple U. Yeah, look, I don't get behind Temple either. Temple's never been good to get behind. Fire Kelce for what? How long until TMZ gets it? Look, somebody will release that video. That video will come out. But the Sixers are definitely, from what I've been told from my source, that they are telling them to keep it under wraps. Lower the tone when reporting about it and talking about it. Marcus Hayes was supposed to be on the radio right afterwards. And then all of a sudden he pulled out of that radio interview. Telling you. Joel Embiid will get a suspension for this. Probably only like 4 or 5 games, which whatever. He's not playing anyway right now. Marcus Hayes will get a slap on the wrist from the Inquirer. Maybe. Maybe not, actually. Because, honestly, they already made him edit the article. What? Regarding Sandusky, if Tim Cook does something bad, we're all switching from iPhones to Android. What? I don't know. Penn State alum are apologists for the university and its actions and look the other way. Yeah, look, I don't want to turn this into a Sandusky discussion today. I don't. Only good thing about Penn State is Fawn. What is that, like some Fawn that they do? I don't even know what that is. Marcus Hayes did this on purpose. He was always trying to be a part of the news, popping into games when things. He's not even one of those guys that are on the beat regularly. It's not like he's at every Sixers game and every Sixers practice. So you know what? Marcus Hayes, why anyone would even pay for the Inquirer after all this? But obviously there's people that support him. And obviously people that agree with him instead of Joel Embiid in this situation. Hence what Chet just said a few moments ago. Shame on beat writers for burying a serious story for access to the team. But Mark, that's unfortunately the way it is. 100% the way it is. There's way more people asking for the credentials than credentials to be given out. And the Sixers will gladly suspend someone's credentials and give them to somebody else that will follow the narrative that they want put out there to the fans. It's unfortunate. They weren't playing Embiid anyway, so why not suspend him and have him sit? They don't have to worry about the fines and stuff for sitting him the wrong way, basically. The Sixers situation should be taught in all future journalism classes on what not to do. Yeah, you don't bring family into a situation. Plain and simple. You don't mention family to get your point across, especially in a disparaging way. You just don't do it. You just don't do it. It's plain and simple. It is. And you know what? Yeah, a 7'2" guy should probably not lay hands on a 4-foot midget like Marcus Hayes. because obviously it's an unfair fight. But man, I'm telling you, I would have handled both the Joel Embiid and Jason Kelce situations much differently if I was in their shoes. And let me tell you something. They would not have been better handled. It would have been worse for those two individuals and the results coming on me. Because you just don't do that. You just don't disparage family. I got stories I could tell about that. I just won't tell them on the air. Let's get off the Sandusky conversation. Nothing on their sports update yesterday morning. Of course, because it's all being hush-hush on the down low. Hush-hush on the down low. Hush-hush on the QT. Nobody wants to lose their credentials. Marcus Hayes will get slowly phased out. I don't know. This is not the first time that we've had issues with Marcus Hayes writing disparaging articles about players and situations. I feel like every other week I'm quoting something headline from Marcus Hayes that is insane what he's writing about. Mista is not a fan of Marcus Hayes for bringing up Embiid's family. If this was back in the day, Barkley would have thrown Hayes through a window. I would have, in this day and age. Would have. No doubt about it, Mista. Zero. You don't mess with family. Sorry, I'm just going to go right over that. Morning, Stevie. How are you? I hope you're well this morning. Once Embiid goes out and drops 40, this will wash over. When will he go out and drop 40, though? That's the question. Paul George looks like he's trending towards playing tonight, which is a good thing. 3-game road trip on the West Coast starting tonight. Phoenix, and then 2 games in LA against the Clippers and Lakers. Looks like Paul George will play. Still ways off from Joel Embiid. Obviously, there's a whole conversation about Joel Embiid to get into. But it is what it is. Peanut, you will not be forgotten. What? What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. Anyway, let's get back on par here. We're talking Joel Embiid, Jason Kelce, their situations. We're talking about Eagles. We can get back to this Eagles game, how big of a victory it was for the Philadelphia Eagles this week. This is Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Please hit that like button and subscribe button. And anybody watching on YouTube, subscribe and like and click that share button for me. If you're watching on Twitter, please hit that repost button and you open up the box. Open up the box. And then there's a little chat function and you could chat on the show from Twitter as well. Embiid is a great player. C21 versus Toronto. Rest in peace, Squirrel. What? I don't even know what that means. I don't. Sorry, guys. What box? What's in the box? Yeah, that might be my thing underneath my name tomorrow. What's in the box? Hey, I don't know. Maybe my vote's in the box. I don't know. Maybe if it's not stolen or something like that. See, I can make political jokes or teases here and there. But guys, let's get back on point here. Let's get back on par on what we're talking about. Eagles victory yesterday. Still waiting to find out on A.J. Brown and some of the other injuries from yesterday. We get back to talking Nick Sirianni, how and why Nick Sirianni gets such a pass from some, but not from others. Do we win despite Nick Sirianni? And of course, how far would you have taken the situation with Jason Kelce? How far would you have taken the situation with Joel Embiid? To me, I would have taken it so much further. Absolutely, especially considering there was probably alcohol involved in one of the situations. Can't tell me Jason Kelce didn't have a beer or two. You don't know what this means at all. Kelce will just pay for the idiot kid's phone with a few extra bucks, and that crap will be over. But that kid is a POS for even saying stuff. Absolutely. That kid should be kicked out. If he goes to Penn State should be working on finding out who that kid is and kicking him out of school. That would be the ultimate punishment for that kid. Yeah, Kelce's got to buy him a new phone, maybe throw him a couple bucks. Let me tell you something. If I'm Penn State, I'm making a statement, and I'm kicking that kid out of school. You don't get to speak like that in public. You just don't. The only reason why I did it was because he wouldn't say that to a random kid walking down the street. He only said it to Jason Kelce to start a reaction. It's like people knew what was going to happen because there are people filming it the entire time. Eagles in my top 10, maybe top 8. Well, they're a top 5, 6 team, to be honest with you. at this point. There was a lot of fun games around the NFL yesterday for sure. If the tush push worked, we wouldn't be as mad at Sirianni. I think it's a fair point, Tech. It's like I tweeted it out like halfway through the game. The Jaguars worked on nothing all week in practice except for one thing: how to stop the tush push. I've never seen a team successfully stop the tush push that many times in one game since we've been doing the tush push. So it is what it is. Was Maddox in on dime yesterday? It was someone hurt for a minute. I don't know why. The Maddox only played one snap, and he got beat up for a big penalty that could have changed the outcome of the game. He played one snap on defense, and that play is what happened. So why is Devonta Maddox out there in dime? I have no idea. Can Keely Ringo not play dime? I don't even know if Eli Ricks dressed yesterday or not. But why Maddox played that one snap and put him in that position? I even saw it. Like, I saw as the play was getting ready to be snapped. I'm like, is that Devonta Maddox out there? I haven't noticed him. I don't know what's crazier. Devonta Maddox only played that one snap. Bryce Huff only played 6 snaps. I don't think he played a single snap through halftime. Bryce Huff and Devonta Maddox are on their way out. Others, we get the trade deadline on Tuesday. We'll see what happens. So free speech doesn't exist at Pado State. What? I'm sorry. So I'm infringing on your free speech when you're directly calling someone in my family the words that you are? You know what? No, it does not exist. You cannot speak like that and represent a school, an institution, a job like that and get away with it. And you can't say it to me or I'll knock you on your ass. Plain and simple. Just Google it. Words that I won't say on the air. Maybe. That idiot kid used a slur to make raise a man's ire. And he only did it because he knows that he was going to be made famous from raising a famous person's ire. In most worlds, you get your ass whooped for that. If anything, Kelce had restraint. Both the Embiid and Kelce situation is a perfect example of F around and find out. Absolutely agree with you on that, Steve. Just chimed in. Is Sirianni fired yet, Jose? Sirianni ain't getting fired. The Eagles are 6-2. The Eagles are 40-19 in regular season games under Nick Sirianni. He drives us completely insane, Jose. But yet he finds ways. The team finds ways to win, which is shocking, which is weird, which is crazy, which I don't understand how it keeps happening, but it does. Maddox played one snap to give DeJean a breather. Why? Because that one snap was like a 20-yard personal foul penalty. God damn. Exactly. The Jags repped hard for the tush push. I'm glad it got stopped this week and not in the playoffs. Yeah. And you know what? The Eagles are going to work on it. They're going to break down the film. Why did the Jags stop it? I hope that when he does go for it on 4th down, because you saw late in the game that they ran a trickery play, a pass play instead of the tush push. And I think Nick Sirianni said something along the lines of, well, they had stopped it, so we need to try something different there. I hope that they don't get scared of calling the tush push. If you're going to be aggressive on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, it's still got to be the tush push. Until it's stopped for 3-4 weeks in a row, you got to keep running it. You don't got to outthink. If you're going to outthink yourself and go for it in situations you shouldn't, don't outthink yourself and stop calling that play. Yeah, he was in the U.S. of A. He called Kelce's brother the F word multiple times, and then brought up Taylor Swift in the conversation as well. And so Jason Kelce let it go a few times. So like the 3rd or 4th time, turned around, grabbed the kid's phone from his hand, smashed it on the ground, got in his face, and then walked off. The kid or his family is paying tens of thousands a year to go to be at Penn State University. You know what? So what? So he's allowed to say whatever he wants? We're talking about some pretty disparaging words here, okay? When we're not talking about you're an idiot, we're talking about some pretty crazy words. So if you support that kid getting away with saying what he said just because we're a free country and he's allowed to say that, then you know what? You got more problems than I realized. Free speech does not mean you can say what you want without consequences. Exactly. Free speech in schools have been shown to be limited anyway. He's a Penn State event, and there's no expectations. He can go on the sidewalk and say whatever he wants. What? Yeah. You only get free speech from the government, not from people that can kick your ass. That's true. For Kelce, there was some deep-rooted experiences of protecting Travis growing up that came out in that reaction. Very, very true. I don't care if that's even the case. You know, someone said something about my brother. I'm throwing. For sure. 100%. That is exactly what the free speech amendment is for. So you could say anything without consequences. Stop. There's always going to be consequences for everything you say and do in life. The Jags got off the snap faster than the Eagles' offensive line. So the D-line got under the O-line and was able to stand up with them. There was one of the tush pushes that failed. I will say, and it didn't get replayed many times, that the defender coming over the top, then you got the defenders going under, then you get the linebackers going over the top, did grab a hold of Jalen Hurts' head. I thought you weren't supposed to make contact with quarterbacks' heads. I know it's a tush push. I know it's a run play. But, man, it didn't grab his face mask, but went across his face mask and his visor. Could have called a penalty on that and given them another shot at it. Actually, the kid started it. It was all the kid. No, you can't. Yeah, you can't protest the genocide in Gaza either. So I guess that's fair. What are you talking about, K1? Seriously, like I don't understand your point. You know, what was said was completely wrong, inappropriate, and unnecessary. It was done to draw a reaction, to get your 5 minutes of fame on social media. And this kid's now 5 minutes famous. And you know what? He's got to pay the consequences for it. It was wrong. And if anybody thinks what was said to Jason Kelce was right, you know what? I don't care. Verbal assault, not a thing. What? Stop. Running a rugby-inspired play like the tush push without the rugby player, not smart. That's true. It's a little less successful without Jordan Mailata out there. Jason has the right to, but now he has to pay. Whatever. I can't agree with you. I can't even argue with you because I'm just going to say something really wrong here. Yeah, I'm just not going to do it. If you got nothing to say about the Eagles game, then or the Sixers or whatnot, then it's fine. But I cannot stand by and see people justify what the kid was saying was in his right to say it, because you know what? That is not what happens. That is not how decent you. That is what the problem is with the world today, because you think you could say whatever you want when you can't. You have free speech, but there's consequences for saying certain things. And if you think you're right and allowed to call people out like that in such disparaging words, I thought hours after the game, did Sirianni try to save Doug Peace's job by trying to screw? Maybe that's what it was. A little love fest going on there. Look, whatever. Yeah, I'm bringing it up because it was wrong, and you think it was right, which I think is complete and total bullshit. Plain and simple, K1. I think you thinking what the kid said was right and he has every right to say it is wrong. Plain and simple. And I'm not going to argue with you on it because you're either A, trying to troll me, or B, I'm not quite as smart as I thought you were. Kelce taught that kid a life lesson more than he will get at Penn State. Maybe. Guys, you're watching Trending the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. With that being said, we're going to keep it to Eagles. I guess I'm going to have to turn off the conversation to Kelce and Embiid with Marcus Hayes. I am not engaging in this anymore. I'm not either. It's not a discussion. If you agree with what the kid said, then you're stubborn. You're an idiot. You have no sense of what's right and wrong on what to say is right and what to say is wrong. It is not about content. I didn't bring it up because it's content. I brought it up because it's wrong. Straight wrong what the kid did. Straight wrong what Marcus Hayes did. Without a doubt. Wrong what Marcus Hayes did. No doubt about it. Wrong. People think that it's okay to say whatever you want and get away with it. No, it's not. It's not about ranting, Mitch. It's about what's right and wrong in life. And this is the culture that this world is turning into at this point. I can't wait till this goddamn election's over with. because people think they can say and do whatever they want with no consequences. That's just not the way it is. It is. Again, not a rant. Just telling you straight up your posts and your comments were wrong. Plain and simple. If you want to talk football, great. If not, move on. But he tush push didn't work because the Jags D-line got under the O-line by getting off the snap earlier than. Did we just repeat the same comment here? You're trying to bring it back? Bring it all back to the football conversation? Because I appreciate that, Duck. I appreciate bringing it back to the football conversation. These kids need to let go of the baby bottle and grow up. Yeah, that's for sure. I bet if Penn State beat the Ohio State and not lost to them for the 8th straight year, this wouldn't have happened. Didn't it happen before the game? I think it was before the game. Did you talk about Saquon stopping short on 2 potential first down runs? I did not. I think the one when he came down to try to continue running the clock was very interesting because I think he could have gotten the first down there. Saquon Barkley does do some boneheaded things from time to time. He really does. The fumble was not a fumble, so I can't get him on that. He did drop a pass. He came down twice instead of running for first downs. There were some moments from Saquon that are throughout the year. We're one Saquon drop away from being 7-1 as well, Tech. Plain and simple. So, there's that as well. So, yeah. You can see the Jags D-line stand up the O-line. Look, I talked about it last week. Let me find the numbers exactly. I was shocked. Their D-line is pretty solid. They were coming into the game. I know it's not like that anymore because, we ran all over them. But they had the 9th-ranked best rush defense in football going into the week. 31st against the pass. I expected even more passing than the Eagles did. But that 9th-ranked run defensive line definitely held up during the tush push. Hurt again. A.J. Brown hurt again. We're going to have to keep our eye on that. That's very, very tough situation. I tried to take a dig at, okay. Well, again, Rant Phil would be talking about why I've decided not to be a Penn State fan anymore and how my life has gotten so much more stressless. I don't have a college team. I'm still hunting for the college team. I was forced to be a Penn State fan just because I live in the state of Pennsylvania, and I don't understand why. I have literally zero attachment to Penn State as a fan. So I'm curious who I should be a fan of and why. I'll just enjoy watching good football on Saturdays. Wolverines are the champion. I don't think they are. You think Saquon tweaked something? Yes, 100%. He came out multiple times. You saw workers on the side, like doctors or medical staff, working on his neck many a times. Plus the fact, Jose, that Saquon touched the ball, 27 carries, 3 catches. So he had 30 of the 71 offensive plays he touched, and 31 of them went his way because he had 1 drop. That's a lot of Saquon usage yesterday. And I do want more Saquon usage. I get it. I don't want to use him less. But the hurdling, I just don't understand why football players still hurdle. Nothing good comes out of hurdling and being in the air like that. Can we celebrate the inaugural? I think he had a few catches before, but there was an amazing amount of concentration on that catch. But just here's the weird thing about Jahan Dotson. Makes that big play. That's when A.J. Brown was still in the game. Second half of the game, no A.J. Brown. Jahan Dotson disappears again. As soon as A.J. Brown went back to the locker room and didn't come back out, why wasn't Jahan Dotson utilized? I don't get it. We just don't seem to. Aeneas Smith had a catch. Kenny Gainwell caught a ball out of the backfield. There's a lot of guys getting involved. Ben Van Sumeren. I love the Ben Van Sumeren getting involved. Johnny Wilson getting targets his way over Jahan Dotson. Every player does silly things, but you get 100-plus yards of offense every game. You make fun of him on Monday, tape review, and let it go. Yeah, for sure. This is the start of the Dotson career. If A.J. Brown's going to miss a game or two, you're going to need Dotson to step up. You are, especially with these tough teams that we're facing over the next 4 weeks. At the end of the day, the Eagles are now on a 4-game winning streak headed into it's F Dallas week. It basically is. It's Dallas sucks week. It's the greatest week. It's also the week. So we got Victory Monday, Election Tuesday. We've got F Dallas week. We've got Paul George's debut. And we got the Yellowstone Season 5 Part 2 premiere on Sunday night after the Eagles game. The next 7 days, jam-packed with emotional highs and lows for me, for sure. Widener football got good D3 squad. Do they? I haven't paid attention, honestly. They were actually a really good squad when I was there. They just ran into every year I was there. They got, I think they the 3 years I was there, 2 of the 3 years they got knocked out by Mount Union. That was when Mount Union was winning D3 titles every year. I think Mount Union won like 7 out of 9 years. They were talking about making Mount Union bump up to D2 because they were winning so much. That's when I was at Widener. They were always good. They just couldn't get over like no other team could get over Mount. I think it was Mount Union was the team. It's F Dallas week, plain and simple. And Dallas sucks. I mean, you got Dak Prescott mouthing "we suck" on the sideline. You got him getting hurt. You got CeeDee Lamb getting hurt. Phil made the girls wider. Weird, but I don't. Yeah, anyway, the key to the game was obvious. Look, Grant Calcaterra had a fantastic game. I know his numbers: 5 catches, 30 yards, isn't much, but the usage of Grant Calcaterra in the passing game, very impressed with him. He didn't do that last year when Dallas Goedert went down. Dallas Goedert's now missed 3 games. Will he be back this week? Maybe. If not, then why didn't they put him on IR? But Grant Calcaterra is showing a little something. He's got the speed to break plays if he needs to. Gets over the middle. He catches everything. He's starting to get a little rapport with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is starting to trust him a little bit more. He was actually over 50% snaps. I didn't save the snap count on my screen here, Mark, but he played a lot of snaps. He just doesn't get the ball thrown his way. And I don't know. I haven't watched enough to see if he's open or not, if he's running the right routes, if he's getting the separation or not. Summerlin is in concussion protocol. Correct. That is correct. I'm not sure what play it came on, but I loved seeing them use him. Right now, he was getting used 4, 5, 6 plays a game. And they were always run plays. So using him as a fullback in a play action, tossing a pass, gives the defense something to think about. So let's hope that he's okay. Who's our backup fullback? I don't know. We better get one. Maybe that's a top trade target now at the deadline. With the uncertainty of AJ, how does Howie go for a wide receiver? Well, they better find out about AJ Brown's knee really fast. I would have said no, Jose, because you spent a 3rd-round pick on Dotson. But if AJ is going to miss 4, 6, 8 weeks, then you might have to go get somebody. The only thing good that comes out of hurdling football is being all over the highlights. Exactly. You hurt yourself in the end, but you're all over the highlight reels. Ooh, yay. I'd rather be healthy, though. The only thing good that comes out, hold on, I didn't change. I expect an expanded role for Will Shipley. Look, let's give Will Shipley some credit. Everyone's going to talk special teams about the play Sidney Brown made to break up that punt and cause a fumble that Keely Ringo recovered. The next punt, Will Shipley made an amazing open field tackle on the punt return of the Jags. Nobody's going to remember that play because they're all going to remember the Sidney Brown missile, which was a great play. But Will Shipley, you get on the field however you can. And that's what Will Shipley did. Made a great open field tackle on special teams. Yellowstone is an amazing show. Amazing show. Move Dotson into more crossing. I don't get why they weren't any valve receivers underneath for Hurts. It seems a lot of passing is sellout plays. Yeah. No comment. What was the point of Shipley? To be the future at running back. And CD came back in the final 2 minutes of the game. But he definitely looked uncomfortable. And Dak hurt his hamstring, so that could be weeks, Mount Union had Sirianni as a flanker, probably came into Widener, caught 10 for 120, and I'll tell you, yeah. So let's do the math. What's Sirianni, like 48? So he's a little older than me. So I don't think he would have been playing. I'm 43. I was there from 99 through 2002. I think Sirianni would have been a little before my time. Personally, I'm guessing that one there. He's going to replace Gainwell next year. Absolutely agree. And then eventually maybe he takes over for Barkley when Barkley's career is over. Yeah, Dak has a hammy issue. And as we can see with Eagles having hammy issues this year, you just don't know how long they're going to last. Jalen Hurts was phenomenal yesterday. Mitch, I said it before and I'll say it again. That was one hell of a performance. Some amazing deep throws to Barkley and Devonta Smith. But I said it earlier in the show, maybe it was before you joined the chat, Mitch. The 3rd and 6 throw before the Devonta Smith touchdown pass, where he hit Devonta Smith on a 7-yard route over the middle of the field for a first down, 2 defenders closing. Jalen Hurts zipped that ball in there with confidence. Devonta Smith made the tough catch, got the first down. That throw is the throw a confident quarterback makes. And that throw, people need to talk about more. That makes sense. Mitch, solid. Still holding the ball too long. One of the sacks, he definitely held onto the ball too long. One of them, the line just collapsed instantly. Still think our pass protection needs a little work. I do. Fred Johnson was okay. He did get banged up. Can we talk about the dirty hit on Fred Johnson that could have ended Fred Johnson's career, season, whatnot? I felt really bad. I'm glad. Lucky he came back out in the field. I thought it was much worse than it was. But Fred Johnson gave up a few pressures. Landon Dickerson gave up 1 or 2 as well. So wait to see the numbers. He is. Jalen Hurts throws a great deep ball. I don't think people realize it, at all. They did they? I don't know. Shipley was so solid. He wrapped him up and the punt him down. Look, dude, no one's going to talk about Will Shipley's punt coverage. The one, he grabbed him right by the ankles, wrapped him. Great play. There was a lot of room in front of Will Shipley to run that punt back. But everyone will talk about Sidney Brown. Rightfully so. But you got to give credit to the other players as well. Tulsa is greater than Yellowstone. I don't know about that. Dallas is tanking. Well, they got 3 wins. There's other teams with less, but that could be true. You know what's going to happen. Jerry Jones is going to try to fire the cameraman that caught Dak Prescott saying we suck because he thinks he controls the world. We converted 3rd and 17 and 3rd and 22 for touchdowns. Absolutely. That's crazy. It's crazy. That 3rd and set was it whichever one was the run by Barkley. At the 3rd and 17, and he ran for 20 some yards for that touchdown. That design of that run, the blocking on that run was phenomenal. Phenomenal on that. Hey, Payless made his bones by trying to out Troy Aikman. I can't try and get stupidly famous by trying to out on Dak. Yeah. By the way, I wish him and his fiance and new baby all the best. Look, yeah. Hurts was great, but the unnecessary sacks need to stop. Get out of the pocket and throw the ball away. There was one of the sacks specific. He was sacked 3 times, I believe. One was just a complete line collapse, and there was no time to even throw it away. One of the other two, I know for a fact he could have thrown it away. The other one, I'm not sure on. But one of them, he definitely held on to it too long and should have just dumped it off. I think it turned into a 4th down punt after that, too. The no-look hurdle, it's just dangerous and stupid. Slim's catch in the corner would be the play of the year, if not for Saquon's reverse hurdle. I'll take the Devonta catch all day. I hate the hurdle. Hate the hurdle so much, K1. You know what? I criticize referees and umpires all the time in sports, in basketball, baseball, football, all the time. And the bad call on the Saquon Barkley fumble, notwithstanding, the end zone judge that ruled him in, the eyesight that it takes to see that he is in. There's in my mind when I saw that play in real time, like there's no way he caught that and kept his feet in. No way. And then as the injury, the first replay, you see his shin land out of bounds. I was looking at his shin instead of his feet. God damn, that was a catch. The concentration it takes from Devonta. I think they were talking about it on postgame that he was explaining it to somebody that he makes his legs go limp. And by going limp, they just fall down in bounds. Little things like that. Was completely taken aback by Shipley's play. Shipley and DeJean really want the smoke. We want the smoke. Fred Johnson got beat up last night, figuratively and literally. He got beat up by taking some bad hits, and he didn't play quite as well. Look, I don't know when Jordan Mailata is going to be back. What have we missed Jordan Mailata? 3 games so far? So I think he's out at least one more game, Mailata. Could be longer. I wouldn't be shocked if Howie's talking to teams about offensive line depth right now. Hurts ran fast and with authority with his rushes. Yeah, he's done that for 2 or 3 weeks now. He runs with more aggression. The thing is, design runs and certain runs he's great on. It's the read option runs because he's spending too much time trying to process the read option that he doesn't run those plays well. But design runs, or he scrambles outside and then runs for the first down, he runs with authority there and fast as can be because there's no thinking. No way Sirianni is 40. Sirianni's in his 40s. I'm trying to figure out how old Sirianni is. Hurts deep ball is on the reason why he get Russell Wilson comparable. Maybe. He's my age. Sirianni's only 43. Damn. So maybe he was whooping up at Widener University on us. Sirianni is barely 40. Now I got to look it up. Now I got to type this in. Nick Sirianni age. Bing it. 43. Oh, shit. He's younger than me by a half a year. Damn. Okay. So maybe he was at Widener whooping up on us. Maybe he was whooping up on my Widener. You know, I don't know what we were back then. They're the Pride now. They had to change the Pride. I think they were the Pioneers when I was there or something like that. Q must have had his man on lockdown with handcuffs. You didn't hear his name. He gave up 1 catch for 13 yards. And I think that was it. Isaiah Rodgers had some good moments. Isaiah Rodgers also got beat a few times. Cooper DeJean got beat once or twice as well yesterday. He also, though, made some big flashy plays. And I'd rather Cooper DeJean than Avonte Maddox because Avonte Maddox's one play obviously was resulted in a bad play. Absolutely has. Too sensational. You got to use the word sensational there. The throw to Johnny Wilson was absolutely rifled. It was. And it was a bad call by the refs push off there, in my opinion. Jalen Hurts has an arm. Jalen Hurts just needs a confidence. Jalen Hurts just needs to be confident in himself. When he gets the confidence rolling, Jalen Hurts is unstoppable. The hurdle was fun. The Devonta catch was elite. Absolutely agree with you on that. I would almost say, Tech, that the touchdown run from Barkley was more elite overall, big picture, than the hurdle. Hurdles are dangerous. Not vision. Yeah, look, Johnny Wilson, I think, is just one of those guys out there to block and do different things. Devontae Smith's blocking is something that doesn't get the credit it deserves. He's always had a great deep ball, correct. Smitty's and the Jets player made the highlights so great this week. Yep. Absolutely. Hurts is all healed up. He is healthy, which is important as well. I don't get why they think, but I think kind of feel like Hurts even there was a play where you saw Hurts go like this after a play. The Jags, for as bad as they were most of the game, were hitting hard. And sometimes a little dirty as well. Many weeks, the play against Fred Johnson would get way more press. Want a completely unnecessary play at the goal line nonetheless. Yes. Okay, I watched the video. It was the F word. No, we're not going back to that conversation. That's just it. Hurts knee and shoulder are 100%. That throw to Wilson would never have been made last year. Phil's daily, oh shit, I'm old moment. I am old. I feel old. I definitely feel old. Hurts looks fully healthy. He does. I wonder if Fred Johnson is rethinking the retirement decision this season. But he's been playing good considering all things considered. But he's obviously such a massive step down from Jordan Mailata. That's the thing. We're missing Jordan Mailata and all pro. Keep Fortnite off the field. Who's Fortnite? We're just going to skip that. I was impressed with Kelce's explosive throw of that kid. Stop. We're done with the Kelce thing. Smitty equals Thin Diesel. Yeah. When did it become Thin Diesel and not Skinny Batman? When did that change happen? Because I saw somebody else talking about that. Jags have a decent defense. The offense is just seriously a question mark. They had the 29th ranked defense coming into this past week. I don't know about that. Trevor Lawrence just has regressed. So could you imagine Trevor Lawrence having the season he's having, or the last 2 seasons he's having in Philadelphia? With the way we criticize Jalen Hurts for getting us to the playoffs every year. Could you imagine Trevor Lawrence in Philly? Like, is Trevor Lawrence just a guy? Not just a Jags quarterback, just a Jag? Just a guy? Like, he's third highest paid quarterback in the NFL per average annual salary? Like, it seems like that comeback versus the Chargers in the playoffs when they were down 30 plus at halftime, it feels like that was decades ago. A different quarterback. That offense, Trevor Lawrence is just, I don't know. Like, he's just not good. Still the Slim Reaper. That's true. He'll never lose that one. Trevor Lawrence is terrible. He's pretty terrible. How many games did you get right? Not good. My predictions this week, I don't want to tell you. But let's just say I got a lot of games wrong this week. A lot of games wrong. I'm glad I did not bet much this week because, boy, did I have a bad pulse. T-Law and Dougie P would be gone like a year ago. Yeah, they would not have survived in Philadelphia with this kind of play. Like, I know Mark makes this joke all the time, and I love it. I want someone to love me like Doug Peterson loves Press Taylor because that whole situation is hilarious. 2-point conversion and leaving field goals on the board. We've discussed it ad nauseum for the first 30 minutes, Jose. I don't think Lawrence would be the same guy on any team he's on. Dak on a better team makes that team better. Lawrence, I'm not sure. Maybe. Oh, what's up, Pump Man? Nick Sheeran's a war criminal. Hurts played decent, but those 15 sacks were brain numbing. What? 15 sacks? What? We didn't last night. It will come up in today's press conference. Yes, it will. I appreciate Vic for being consistent with how he's coaching the defense. The defense is playing great. Press Taylor will get Doug fired again. Probably. Really? Well, that's way better than me. I'm probably not even 500 after last week. I got 2 whole games right yesterday. 2 games right yesterday. I think Murph from the Top Billing channel coined Thin Diesel. Murph from the Top Billing? I don't even know what that is. Did we forget about Devonta Smith winning the Heisman Trophy? Honestly, I did actually forget he was a Heisman champion. Phil Hurts had 2 sacks where he held on the ball. Okay, gotcha. He was sacked 3 times. We were just talking about it a few minutes ago, Pump Man. 3 sacks. 1 was not his fault. The line just collapsed instantly on him. 1, he definitely could have thrown it away. The 3rd one, I have to go back and rewatch it because I don't remember. Guys, we got to get this wrapped up here. I didn't realize we're at the hour and a half mark, so we're going to call it for the day. Be back tomorrow, maybe with Dylan Davis from DSM Media. We're going to try to get him on tomorrow to talk more Eagles, to talk Sixers. Paul George debuting tonight for the Sixers, most likely. According to Shams, today's he tweeted that he expects Paul George to play tonight, but we're going to be wrapping this up here for the day. Gots to get to work. That's right, PG back. Well, not back, starting for the first time. So with that being said, we're going to wrap this one up. Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Hit that like button, that subscribe, that follow, that retweet button, guys. Let me just star through all these comments that you guys are playing in here. But with that being said, guys, we're going to end it right here. Go Birds. Bubbles up to y'all.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep.